The last shift of Ella Morgan. On a cold Tuesday night in November, just after 11:47 p.m., the security cameras inside Ridgewood General Hospital caught something investigators still describe as impossible to explain at first glance. Nurse Ella Morgan walking into a storage hallway, followed exactly 13 seconds later by a man who didn't exist in the hospital's employee system, visitor logs, or security clearance records. Neither of them ever reappeared on camera. What happened in that hallway became Ridgewood's most haunting mystery. Before we dive into the details, if you enjoy true crime stories that dig into hidden clues, human emotion, and the unsettling truths behind ordinary lives, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss another case we explore together. Now, let's get into it. The setting: a quiet town with quiet people. Ridgewood, Pennsylvania, isn't the kind of place that makes national news. It's a middle-class town surrounded by pine forests, calm streets, and neighbors who still shovel each other's driveways. Most people knew Ella Morgan long before she became a nurse. She was the girl who tutored younger kids, volunteered at the animal shelter, and still brought cookies to the ER staff during overnight shifts. She was 27, soft-spoken, loved by everyone, zero enemies, the kind of person you couldn't imagine being the center of a crime story. She lived alone in a small rented duplex not far from the hospital. Her life was predictable, steady, almost painfully normal. She worked night shifts, visited her mom on Sundays, and posted pictures of her cat, Clover, on Instagram. Nothing about her life hinted at the violence waiting for her. The night of the crime, Ella clocked in for her shift at 7 p.m. on November 12th. Coworkers later said she seemed tired but in good spirits. She joked about craving coffee, handled admissions, and checked on her patients like always. At 11:40 p.m., she told her charge nurse she needed to grab more 4 lines from the sub-storage room in Wing C, a dim area of the hospital that always felt colder than the rest of the building. Security footage showed her turning into that hallway at 11:47 and 3 seconds p.m. At 11:47 and 16 seconds p.m., another figure followed, a tall male, navy hoodie, face lowered, moving with purpose. The camera facing the storage room door had been malfunctioning for 2 weeks, producing only static. A maintenance request had been filed but not yet handled. Investigators later said, Ella walked into a blind spot, and someone was waiting for her. She never returned. The discovery: when Ella didn't respond to calls, nurses assumed she was restocking. At 12:15 a.m., a tech went to look for her. The hallway was empty. The storage room was unlocked. The 4 boxes were still sealed. On the floor was Ella's ID badge, snapped in half. The hospital went into internal lockdown. By 12:30 a.m., police arrived within minutes. No signs of struggle, no blood, no fingerprints, no forced entry. It was as if she had vanished into the walls. The investigation begins. First suspect, the ex-fiancé. Detectives first looked at Daniel Reed, Ella's ex-fiancé. Their breakup 8 months earlier had been abrupt. He admitted he still loved her, but insisted he hadn't seen her in weeks. His alibi, working an overnight warehouse shift, checked out. Video and time punches matched. But the detectives couldn't ignore how Daniel described her. Ella worried too much. She was always scared of disappointing people. It didn't seem important at the time, but it would later. Red herring, the patient with a record. One patient in Ella's unit that night had a criminal history involving assault. Rumors spread fast, but he had been sedated, monitored, and physically unable to leave his room. Dead lead. The breakthrough, the missing 3 minutes. Detectives rewatched the hallway footage over 200 times. Something about the timing felt too clean, too controlled. A forensic video analyst noticed that between 11:47 and 11:50, there were unusually long camera buffer delays, meaning the system briefly stopped recording. Someone with internal access manipulated the footage. This shifted suspicion from an outsider to someone inside the hospital. The psychological layers, fears, obsessions, and hidden lives. Behind her gentle exterior, Ella had been dealing with stress she hid from nearly everyone. Her journal, found in her bedroom, revealed She felt watched at night while leaving the hospital. Someone kept calling her from blocked numbers. She believed she saw the same dark SUV twice on her street. She wrote, "If anything happens to me, it started months ago. It wasn't paranoia." She was right. The twist, the hospital tech. During employee interviews, investigators noticed one person whose story kept shifting, Gavin Holt, a 31-year-old maintenance technician. Quiet, socially awkward, always alone, no criminal past. But he had access to badge override codes, security camera systems, restricted hallways, and he worked the same nights as Ella. Co-workers described him as invisible. Some didn't even know his name. A search of Gavin's small apartment revealed a hidden USB drive. Inside, it was a folder labeled "Watching." It contained weeks of video clips of Ella recorded on hospital cameras. Her walking to her car, her fetching supplies, her pushing carts, her entering empty rooms. Clip after clip. Hundreds. Gavin had been obsessively watching her. The final twist. A secret room. Investigators returned to Ridgewood General for a deeper sweep. Maintenance blueprints showed something strange. A sealed-off service room that didn't appear on the main building plans. Behind a drywall patch inside Wing C, they found a narrow space that had been cleared out recently. Inside were a chair, restraint straps, a discarded hoodie matching the hallway figure, Ella's earring. But Ella wasn't there. Dust patterns and thermal scans suggested someone had been there only hours earlier, but moved. This explained the lack of blood and signs of struggle. Gavin had grabbed her and moved her into a hidden maintenance space within minutes. He knew every blind spot in the building. The resolution, the running man. Police tracked Gavin through traffic cameras heading north hours after Ella vanished. A multi-state manhunt followed. He was found 3 days later at an abandoned ranger cabin outside the Allegheny Forest. When officers breached the structure, they discovered Ella alive, weak, dehydrated, terrified, but alive. Gavin surrendered without resisting. During interrogation, he confessed. He believed Ella noticed him months earlier when she thanked him for fixing a thermostat. In his mind, this single interaction meant they were meant to be, and he just needed a chance to explain his feelings. He intended to keep her until she understood. His psychological evaluation later revealed severe delusional attachment disorder. Aftermath, the wound left behind. Ella survived, but she never returned to Ridgewood. She moved states, changed her identity, and keeps a low profile. The hospital overhauled its security systems. New laws were passed requiring tighter background checks for maintenance staff in medical facilities. Ridgewood still talks about the case as a reminder that the most dangerous predators are often the quiet ones, the people you walk past every day without noticing. And in the local papers, the headline that became legend was simple: "The man who watched from the shadows."